Thanks so much for joining us. Your contention is that this too cozy relationship between the media and the government has been around for quite some time, and a lot of people knew about it.
I don't think that's in dispute at all. If you go right back to Margaret Thatcher's time as Prime Minister, I think I'm right in recalling that Mrs. Thatcher gave 5 knighthoods in our honours system to serving editors who had supported her. Now, actually, when we came into office in 1997, that was something that we put a stop to by saying that no serving editor should get an honour from the Queen. What I said in a piece I wrote in the Financial Times the other day, I think there were points at which we compromised principles that we should have adopted in relation to press regulation, which in this country has been a complete joke, against the continuing support that we were getting from sections of the media. And I wish that we'd done more.
How do you hit the proper balance here? When you talk about press regulation, you know, over here in America, people immediately perk up when they hear that because they say, we don't like the media much, but we've never liked restrictions on the press. How do you do that?
I accept that, and I instinctively, despite the kind of criminality and the venality and the amorality that we've seen exposed in recent days, I instinctively am still a believer in self-regulation. However, I'm not sure that the generation that is running our media in Britain at the moment can be trusted with it. It's not just here about News International, which has been exposed, I mean, frankly, for total rottenness. But, you know, one of the most powerful newspaper groups within the British firmament is the Mail Group. I think they're just as bad and in some ways even worse, although, let me say, the criminality element has not been, as it were, proven. But I do think that the right since the 80s, the then Culture Secretary talked about the British press drinking in the last chance saloon. Well, they've been drinking in there heavily ever since. And I think that, I do hope that Parliament, once this inquiry is underway and once Parliament then debates any proposals that come from it, I hope we do start from the standpoint of thinking actually self-regulation is preferable. But I think the public are beginning to wonder whether the people who run our newspapers are capable of self-regulation. And the other thing to point out to you, we have the broadcast media regulated here, and actually I think most of the broadcast media think that the system just about works.
And one of your real concerns here is that the way it's working now, and I think this is going to resonate with a lot of people here, is such that the media makes it almost impossible for the government to govern because they're so worried about public opinion, and then that becomes a convenient excuse for government not doing difficult things because, after all, we'll get crucified in the media.
Well, I reached a point. I mean, I worked for Tony Blair from 1994 to 2003, and I went back for the 2005 election, and then I went back for the 2010 election as well. But I reached a point, this is myself now, kind of at the end of the last millennium, really, where I just felt it didn't really matter what they said about you. Because what you've got to do in government is actually to try to do the right thing, to make the big long-term strategic decisions and then try to see them through. So those politicians around the world who do maybe try to manage their policy making to suit what they think is going to be a media reaction, I think it's a complete waste of time. So I think that what this has done, I hope, is liberated the political class from feeling that they have to worry too much about what the media say about them. They should worry about the decisions they take, the strategic course they set, and they should try to see it through.